Hey everyone, it's Danny B, and I'm just as excited as you are for the start of the 2025 NASCAR season. After my Tennessee Vols went one and done in the college football playoffs to what would then become the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, and, well, my Titans got the #1 draft pick. Let's just say, I'm excited for the NASCAR season to be here. My goal this season is to become a stronger fan of NASCAR once again. As I'll admit, probably noticed this past year, I didn't upload a lot to this channel because, quite frankly, I was finding myself growing tired of the sport last year. I hate to admit that, but it's the truth. And this year, I'd like to find myself to get back to that point. I want to make myself a stronger fan of NASCAR this year. I don't want to be necessarily seen as a member of the media per se, but I just want to be seen once again as a strong NASCAR fan with a voice. And after all, this is DannyBTalks, isn't it? So, I'd like to get back to just being able to sit down and talk to you guys about a sport that's meant a lot to me ever since I was a kid. I'm looking forward to the 2025 season, and I hope that it will be a year packed with excitement as we see new tracks, unique events, and some more new changes. So let's dive into the 2025 NASCAR season and what lies ahead for us. First off, the season kicks off with a bang at Bowman Gray Stadium for the Clash. This historic venue marks NASCAR's return to its roots, hosting its first NASCAR Cup Series event here since 1971. Bobby Allison won that last race in '71, which was most recently just declared official after years of dispute by NASCAR back in October of last year. Now, while I don't see the Clash being as divisive as that race was, nor do I expect there to be the rough and rowdy fighting atmosphere that Bowman Gray has been known to create at the lower levels, I still expect that it's going to be a nostalgic start to the season, seeing NASCAR back on track at such a historic venue. Speaking of new venues, we're heading to Mexico City for the first International Points-Paying Cup Series race in NASCAR's modern era. The Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez will host this event, adding an exciting international stop to the NASCAR season, hosting the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Cup Series in June. NASCAR last raced in Mexico City back in 2008 in what was then the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and Kyle Busch was the last driver to win there. Having gone winless in 2024, I imagine Kyle Busch would love to have a win in Mexico for 2025. Let's not forget changes to the playoff schedule. Tracks like Darlington, New Hampshire, and Gateway are stepping into, and in some cases back into, the playoff spotlight, while some familiar names like Atlanta and Watkins Glen are moving to different slots. Atlanta is a summertime night race in June on a Saturday night, while Watkins Glen goes to a Sunday in August, and I appreciate that. To me, Watkins Glen just never felt right in the playoffs. I believe that these shakeups will definitely keep the playoffs a little more interesting with some new tracks and new places this season. One of the biggest difference makers this year is the NASCAR in-season tournament. Starting in June in Atlanta, this bracket-style competition will run through several races, culminating at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's an exciting new format with a hefty $1 million prize, which adds another layer of competition to the regular season, which is fairly similar to what we've seen before with the Xfinity Series Dash for Cash program, and to another level, the old-school Winston No Bull races. It's another way to create some more excitement and incentives for drivers to do well this season that I'm sure we can all look forward to seeing how it all plays out. We're also going to see this year's expansion in TV coverage with new broadcasting partners like Amazon Prime Video and TNT. We've really seen Amazon in particular do a great job as they've branched into the NFL with Thursday Night Football. And with a broadcast talent pool that includes Dale Earnhardt Sr., we can look forward to something new and refreshing this year, hopefully that we have not yet seen from the other partner networks in the past. For the fans, there's a mix of continuity and fresh talent to pull for this season. Shane Van Gisbergen steps up to a full-time ride of Trackhouse Racing in the number 88 car, which has not been on track since Alex Bowman switched to number 48 back in 2021, as he brings his road course prowess to the Cup Series full-time for 2025. Speaking of SVG, while WeatherTech is expected to be a major sponsor of both he and their Xfinity Series prodigy Connor Zilisch, who is racing full-time in the 88 Virginia Motorsports and Xfinity Series, the two also will share a mutual sponsor who had been with SVG in the world of supercars, but who hasn't been in NASCAR since 2011, in Red Bull. That's right, Red Bull is officially back in NASCAR and will sponsor SVG for 5 races in 2025. In addition to that, they will sponsor Connor Zilisch as he makes his NASCAR Cup Series debut later this year at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. On a note of changes in sponsorships, what was formerly JTG Daugherty Racing has a new name. It's now Hayek Motorsports. Hayek Haktua? How do you pronounce this team? Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will still be driving for the team in their number 47, but as far as sponsorship goes, it still seems like this team's season is being pieced together, as so far, Sunny D is the only sponsor that I have seen with the team, but that will be limited. The team's longtime former sponsor, Kroger, now finds themselves over at RFK Racing, where they'll be sponsoring all three of their cars throughout the season, with Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and the newly added Ryan Preece in the 60 car as their new third charter this season. Meanwhile, as Kroger has moved in, their old friends at King's Hawaiian Rolls have moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing and will be seen quite a bit throughout the season on board Denny Hamlin's number 11 as a way to help replace FedEx, who left the team in sport after the 2024 season. Meanwhile, Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch, along with all of RCR, are looking to bounce back after facing what was a unique 2024 season. Busch went winless for the first time in his career, and Austin Dillon did win at Richmond, but the win was controversial enough that his playoff status was revoked from the win. The team has a long history of success, and while I do not know if they'll be back to the win column, Kyle Busch will be making his 20th attempt at the Daytona 500 this year. And much like a particular former driver of Richard Childress, I suspect that a Kyle Busch Daytona 500 win in his 20th year of frustration would be widely appreciated across the NASCAR fan base. And how could we possibly forget the return of Rockingham Speedway for the Truck and Xfinity Series this season? The historic track last hosted a Truck Series race in 2013. In addition to that, we will see the introduction of Lime Rock Park for the Truck Series this season. These additions promise to bring back some exciting opportunities to see racing at even more great venues at the lower levels while introducing new challenges to these teams. And for fans of my age or similar, the upcoming NASCAR 25 video game being developed by iRacing will feature all 4 major series including ARCA, offering gamers a chance to start their NASCAR journey from the bottom in a backyard garage ARCA team, climbing all the way up to the top of the NASCAR Cup Series. It should provide NASCAR fans a chance to have a new video game developed by people who really care about the sport and iRacing. So whether you are just a regular console gamer or a top-of-the-line sim racing enthusiast, I think you're going to find a way to enjoy this game. So whether you're at the tracks this season, watching from home, or playing the new game, 2025 promises to be a season that we can all find something great to look forward to. It's going to be a wild ride for sure, and I'm glad to get back to it. There you have it, folks. Get ready for an unforgettable season of NASCAR racing. Stay tuned to your favorite NASCAR YouTube channels all season long. Get those tickets purchased. Maybe you'll even run into me at a race this year. And let's make sure 2025 is a year to remember in NASCAR. Make sure you set a reminder for the return of NWP as we embark in Season 8 of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast as we kick the show off on Eric Estev's YouTube channel on Thursday, January 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time. I promise we will not be changing our weekly date throughout the season, as myself, Eric, and the Iceberg will continue to bring our weekly programming to you every Wednesday night throughout the season. We just had to make a little change for the season opener though this year, because our boy Eric will be coming back from his honeymoon. That's right, NWP stands for Newlywed Podcaster. Jarrett and I were proud to be there with him as groomsmen in his wedding, and we are very happy for the Estevs. Until next time, this is Danny B. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.